Such a nice scene. Actually, I'm pretty far and I like this scene as it is, so whether someone is walking or not, really, it's not that important. What I have to be careful about is here, you see, I left a little gap. I wish I could go a bit more left in order to have a better angle and more of that building in the frame, but if I do so, you see there is some overlap and some little gaps here that I don't really like, so really my only choice for a better balanced image is moving a little bit right, like this, and yeah, that would be the final frame, I guess. So here we have a beautiful little temple or shrine, I don't know exactly, but you see that light pouring in from the left. So first time I see this place with such a nice light, so I put my exposure compensation pretty low, so it creates more contrast. We keep this area bright, but everything else will be quite dark. We'll do with editing to maybe lift up a few interesting details inside, just like this lantern, but yeah, otherwise I think it will be a pretty contrasty image. I was taking a video clip of what I have in front of me, like this light hitting the river with the motion. I felt like it looked nice, but actually also as a picture, like framing something a bit like that. So excluding anything here from the sky and the building itself. Doing so, you still have a little bit of the reflection and the shadows of each building in the river. You have a nice dynamic light, and yeah, I thought it worked quite well as a pretty abstract shot, I would say. We were visiting that place called the Sanctuary of Truth in Thailand, and after having finished the visit, I got asked by the people I was traveling with if I took any good photos. You have to know that they are not into photography, so I guess it was just them wanting to show some interest and curiosity, but it was a very interesting moment for me because I could not even answer straight away. One was because I didn't even question myself whether I took good photos or not, and two, after a few seconds of thinking, is that I realized that I didn't took any good photos, or I mean some were presentable, but that's about it. So I answered something like, I don't know, maybe, or let me think, probably not, and they felt a bit sorry for me, but they also seemed a bit surprised that I looked totally okay about it. So I started to explain that photography is not only about the photos you take and the one you choose to keep. I was the one in the group that probably spent the most amount of time looking around and watching all the details, the beautiful things that you can see at that location, but also observing people around me and how they interact with each other. I know that I am not too much into history and knowing all the little anecdotes about the places I visit, but because of photography, I am really motivated to appreciate them as they deserve. Everyone says that in any pursuit, the most important thing is enjoying the process and not the destination. In the case of photography, the destination would be taking good photos, having recognition in your community, or having a successful photography business. But in opposition, there are many ways to enjoy the photography process. They are very individual, and oftentimes it is a combination of several things. If we take the example of a street portrait photographer who is more like a people person, in the end, what he or she likes in the practice of this kind of photography is connecting with people. They like sharing stories, spending a moment with someone, and then photography is the last thing that will come on top of their interaction. For some, it is an incentive to go outside and spend more time in nature, while others says that they like to go on photo walk because it clears their mind. It's more like a mental therapy for them, and for me it's also a bit about that. But now, many years into photography, it's really about how it opened my eyes and made me appreciate the beauty, the complexity, and all the little details around me. Could be somewhere really special like the Sanctuary of Truth, but it is also in daily life, being aware about the light, the seasons, the changing landscape. It's about appreciating also the little things that are part of our mundane daily life. I already knew that deep inside me, but being asked at the time if I took any nice photos was a good trigger to put words onto that feeling and having to explain it to someone else. So if you can stick to photography for more than a few months, you will have to find the things that make you enjoy the process, so you will have a reason to keep on doing it, and you will realize that photography, in many occasions, is not even about the photos.
So here we have a beautiful frame with a nice pocket of light here in the center. I waited forever for someone to fill this gap here in the center, but someone just ride a bicycle too close to that side. Later a guy drove the bicycle that way, so the balance was not perfect, and I'm a bit tired of waiting here, but yeah, just to show you the thought process. I find quite interesting here we have the beautiful natural light hitting this building, and we have this tiny, quite cute little artificial light, so it's a nice play of contrast between artificial light and natural light, and also some contrast because we have a decent amount of it with that strong light hitting the building. So I composed that vertically, and I like that. Now seems like the perfect timing to take a photo of this building, this frame I mean, because the light is hitting that face of the building, creating a lot of contrast and depth, sharp edges, which really emphasize this 3D effect. And the light is also hitting this bridge, but not really the river. So we have a little bit of a leading line or something that leads us to the building, which is more contrasty and brighter than the river. So that creates a beautiful contrast, and I think that's yeah, that works well, and that's probably the best time to shoot this landscape. So here we have another very pretty reflection of that orange bridge on the river, and again this reflection inspired me some sort of abstract vibes. So to push even a little further, I tried to do something with motion blur. So I reduced my shutter speed to 1/10 of a second, and I tried many times to shake my camera like this and take pictures at the same time, and I tried both vertically and horizontally. Let's see which one worked best. Nice vending machines, perfectly hit by the light. Those are opportunities that happens only in a few locations and for maybe a few minutes, because having this little beam of light will only last a little bit. So yeah, for this shot I usually pull down my exposure exploitation to -1 or something, and even accentuate the contrast in post by really keeping the vending machine bright while trying to reduce everything in the shadow.
So that's gonna be it for today's video. It was a mix of explaining a few composition, but also elaborating that point about photography not being about photos. I think I used all the footage and photos from Thailand, so going forward it will be back 100% in Japan. If you have any ideas of what kind of video you want to see, please drop a comment. I'm reading everything, and yeah, let's catch up in the next one. Oh, thanks for watching. Bye.